This is our last day to review, so I am going to just review a few things on the EOC Category 1, and then I'm going to go over a few more questions from things that I feel like you need to remember. So on this 6 and 7, the way you would make sure that you can find the answer, which expression is a factor, you're going to put y in y equals the expression they've given you, and then the factor, which is at each of the answer choices. We're looking for a line. And 6, 7, and 13 are the exact same because you're looking for which is a factor. So whenever I graphed this one, it came out similar to a parabola. It's kind of sideways. It's leaning one way. But if it's not a line, then it is not the correct answer. So then I want one that is the correct answer. 7x minus 5. So whenever I put it in, that one comes out as a line. So G is the correct answer. If you want to be 100%, you can double check it, put all your answers as a denominator in y equals, and make sure the others are not lines as well. 7 is the same. Then 13 is the same if you're looking for a factor. Something special about this one, though, is that we have all perfect squares. 36 is a perfect square. X squared is a perfect square. And 49 is a perfect square. This is called the difference of squares. This is something we're going to learn after our EOC is over, because you'll see it again in Algebra 2. But the way that we can factor this or determine if it's a factor is you would take the square root of each of these. So the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 49 is 7 and negative 7. So we do minus 7. And another factor would be 6x plus 7. Because you want both the positive and the negative version of them. So the one that is the factor would be D. Something to remember about 14, it says which table shows y as a function of x. So remember, to be a function, x's cannot repeat. And it must pass the vertical line test. Okay, so same thing on this. It says which of these does not show y as a function of x. So to be a function, x's can't repeat and has to pass the vertical line test. Okay, what about 16 and 17? Do y'all need help on those? 17? Okay, so it says f of x equals 1/3 4 minus x squared. What is the value of f of 16? So this is our function, and it wants to know what f of 16 is. So f of x, so that means x is 16. And we want to know what f of 16 is. F of x, which is y. We want to know what that equals. So it's giving us the x value and asking for the y. So to do f of 16, I would need to plug in 16 for x. So I can put it in the calculator, do my fraction. Y'all do this with me. 1/3, 4 minus 16 squared. All right. The next thing we probably need to look at is 19 and 20, dealing with patterns. I think this was before Christmas that we saw patterns and sequences. So it's been a while. So let's read over 19. A sequence can be generated by using AN equals 4, AN minus 1, where A1 is 6 and N is a whole number greater than 1. What are the first 4 terms in the sequence? Okay, so let's look at what they've given us. A1 is 6. That means that the first term is 6. A1, N is your term number. Where N equals 1, the term number is 6. So we need to find what the other terms are. This means let's find the next term by doing 4 times the previous. Four times the previous. Because if I want to find A2 where N is 2, I'm going to do 4 and then A2 minus 1. Which means 4. 2 minus 1 is just 1. So 4 times A1. They already gave us what A1 was. That's 6. So we do 4 times 6 to get our next term. That equals 24. So our second term is 24. So what is the pattern? What are we doing each time? Yeah, we're just going to multiply with times 4. So 6 times 4, times 4 is 24. 24 times 4, 96. 96 times 4, yeah. Let's do number 20. In a sequence of numbers, A3 equals 0, A4 equals 6. Quiet down. A5 is 12, A6 is 18, and A7 is 24. Based on this information, which equation can be used to find the nth term of the sequence? So each one of these tells us what the sequence number is. So what does A3 equals 0 mean? Third term is 0. So let's do, here's our first term. Here's our second term. So our third term is 0, right? Okay. Our fourth term, 6. Fifth term, 12. Sixth term, 18. Seventh term, 24. So we need to find the pattern that will have the third term 0, fourth term 6, fifth term 12, sixth term 18, seventh term 24. So what is the pattern? Do what? Add 6, yeah. In algebra, what would that be called? Instead of pattern, what is it called in our equation? The rate of change, exactly. So M is 6. Which answer choice has M equals 6? H, that's it. That's the only one. But where did the 18 come from? Where would you find the 18? So it'd be going like backward. It'd be your 0 term, right? Oh, that would be 12, negative 12. And so that would be negative 18, that 0 term. The 0 term is not actually in the sequence. It starts with your first term, but to find out where your B is, because that is our 0 term, then you'd have to go back to find your 0 term. Let's see. What about 18? Do y'all need 18? Okay. So it gives us two different functions, says which statement is true. I need to find f of negative 2, f of 0, f of 8, f of 2. That means when x is negative 2, 0, 8, 2, what's the y value? So I'm going to use my calculator to do that. So I'm going to do f of x is my y1. I'm going to put this in x minus 3 squared plus 4. And I want to find what f of negative 2 is. So I go second graph for the table. And I want to have it at negative 2. So that's 29. So f of negative 2 is 29. I'm looking where x is negative 2. What does it equal? 29. Now f of 0, 13. F of 8, 29. F of 2 is 5. So I'm using my table for each one of these. Now we need to do the g of x and find out all the g's. So let's clear out what we have in y1. Let's put in x to the third power plus 2. Now go to your table. And we want f of negative 3. It's negative 25. F of negative 1 is 1. G of 3 is 29. Ding, ding, ding. There it is. And then G of 1 is 3. So these are not equal. The only one that is equal to the same is H. Okay, 21, 22. Are y'all good on those? Remember, if you divide by a negative when you're solving an inequality, you have to switch that sign. Do y'all remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to grade it. Let me pause the video. Okay, I have just a few things I want to go over with y'all, just some reminders. So here is a problem. The equation of two lines are given. It says, what are the coordinates of the point of intersection? This is a system of equations because you have two of them. So I'm going to slide this over, pull this up. Okay, so let's review what this would be. So we have matrices. Do y'all remember that? Doing matrix? Okay, so what would the matrix look like? It's a 2 by 3, 2 rows by 3 columns. What would go in the first row across? 2, negative 1, 2. And then the bottom row, 3, 4, 25. It wants us to find the point of intersection. So we are finding the solution. To find the solution, do y'all remember what the function was? What we used? R, R, E, F. Nope, not y equals. So let's go. This is a matrix. We're solving systems. So do second, and then this little button. See how matrix is in blue? Second matrix. Y'all do this with me. Go over to math. And then I go up to find RREF because it's B. And then it'll come up to our home screen. Do y'all need me to show that again? Okay. So second matrix, over to math, up to RREF. And then we need to get to our matrix. Do you remember how I do that? Alpha, zoom. Change it to a 2x3. So you have to go up here, over, select 3 and push enter. And then go down to the bottom and push OK. Then put your coefficients in. Press enter. And it comes out as 103014. So because this is written in X, Y equals some number, it's going to be the same thing. X, Y equals some number. So it's like 1x plus 0y equals 3. So 3 is the X value. X equals 3. And so Y equals 4.
Brantley's here.